This is a video essay where we want to have a look at how media is representing Palestine and Israel.
2023.
Everyone knows the drill, code red. As soon as you hear it, you just go to the safe room.
Israel awakens to the worst terrorist attack in its 75-year history.
After seeing what they did to us that day, it became personal. I feel they took my empathy away.
October 7th, Israel-Hamas war. October 7th, 2024, Israel marks anniversary. Israel marks 2 years of pain.
Israelis today remember the more than 1,000 who died in the Hamas attack, October 7th.
Israel declared war on Hamas on October 7th after the Palestinian militant group launched terror attacks throughout the nation.
Included never-before-seen footage from the October 7th attack, and it was taken from body cameras worn by Hamas militants.
Snapshots of horror as Hamas terrorists gunned down civilians in Israel. They didn't stand a chance. The Israeli government released this short clip of a much longer collection of images it's made of the carnage that unfolded here on the 7th of October. It needs the world to remember what triggered Israel's war with Hamas.
We don't parade bodies on TikTok and on our social medias like our adversaries. But we felt it was important to show the international press what happened here, to understand the tragedy.
Foreign
The people of Gaza have been displaced, bombed, and starved, left completely stripped of their humanity and rights.
They called their report our genocide.
As an Israeli Jew, I belong to the collective that is perpetrating this genocide. I bear responsibility. It's done in my name, regardless of, there's this claim that some people make, which is like, this is not in my name. Well, it is done in my name. I live in this society. I pay my taxes, and it's both my responsibility and my obligation to speak out to Israelis about what our government and our army is doing in Gaza.
To give the Palestinian state, it means to give away, to give up my homeland. The more settlements we'll have in Judea and the more settlements we're going to have in Samaria, that will solve our side, because we need Jews not only living in Tel Aviv and Haifa, we need 2 million, 3 million Jews living in our original homeland.
Let's bring you these pictures just coming into us here at Sky News.
the relentless bombing of the Palestinian people, and many of them have been just innocent people. They're not Hamas. They're literally women and children, and you can't unsee the amount of pictures and videos of children that have been blown to pieces and or they're finding them dead in the rubble. That isn't, those aren't actors. That isn't fake war propaganda. It's very real. And I think that is equally horrific. I want to see an end to it, and I think most Americans do.
Your fellow Republican, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments calling this a genocide in Gaza?
Well, I think you should go there and be educated. I was in Israel. I've seen firsthand, like literally not third hand, not a press report, firsthand, trucks leaving northern Israel, going into Syria, being attacked and burnt by the terrorist rebels, in that case Hezbollah. Same thing happens in Hamas. So they send these trucks in there, and the food trucks are either hijacked, the food is then stolen, sold to their own citizens. Look, all of this can be over today if Hamas lays down their weapons and releases the hostages. I think we all have to remember that. This whole situation of Hamas has one culprit, which is Hamas. So Gaza could be free. Gaza could be a thriving place. The hostages could be released, and the people there that are suffering because of Hamas, not because of Israel. There's no.
But the next step, Jewish settlements in Gaza, is a very difficult step that demands a lot of work. You have to influence the leftists, the government, the nations of the world, using the magic system, Zionism. You redeem the land, you establish communities, you bring Jewish families, you live Jewish life, and this will bring light instead of darkness. And this is how the State of Israel was established. And this is what we want to do.
How should Israel respond in a way that you think would be fair and just?
I'm afraid I can't do justice to that question without acknowledging that we should never have been in this place. We should never have been in a situation where the constant warnings that you cannot leave the Palestinian situation to fester. You cannot have Palestinians who day after day, week after week, year after year, decade after decade, do not have their basic rights, live in a regime in which their freedoms are denied, they're permanently dispossessed. That there's a good reason that the Palestinian human rights groups, the Israeli human rights groups, and then Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch made a designation that the crime of apartheid was being committed by Israel against the Palestinians.
People should live in Gaza. The Gaza Strip was always part of Israel.
Trump's peace plan says Gaza is for the Palestinians, but many Israelis disagree.
ואנחנו מאמינים שברגע שהיא תיפתח והיא תיפתח להתיישבות, אנחנו נוכל להיכנס.
While the region holds its breath to see if the ceasefire will hold, I want to find out what those Israelis who want to settle in Gaza believe will happen next, and what this may mean for the Palestinians living there.
זו אנחנו רואים, שהם יעופו משם מקרוב ואנחנו נחזור.
Why is the occupied Palestinian territory, which is unlawfully occupied by Israel, is to be demilitarized while there is no... This is something imposed on the Palestinians, which are the oppressed, occupied people. But there is no conditionality imposed on the unlawful occupier, which has committed crimes after crimes. Israel has just killed, and these are the numbers that are ascertained, 70,000 people.
Earlier, Israeli officials showed journalists terrorist body cam footage of the initial Hamas invasion. Most of the material was not for publication, but officials said it was to combat a Holocaust denial-like phenomenon that is appearing in the media.
Of the couple hundred journalists who attended the screening, many of them were brought to tears by what they saw, and some had to get up and leave the room. But the IDF said it was important to release the unedited video to counter the narrative that's being pushed around the world that this is all just a big exaggeration.
And I have to say that in 15 years of reporting on conflicts, this is some of the worst, most brutal personal violence I have seen.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi told the nation that they are working together as an iron fist to eliminate Hamas.
I want the citizens of Israel to know something else. We make decisions here and in the War Cabinet unanimously. We do so with great responsibility. We do so with deep awareness. We're fighting together and we will win together, only together.
We're here walking along the beach in Tel Aviv, and as you can see, there are people out, their families out, enjoying the sea, as they should. It's peak summer. But I can't help but think when I'm walking along the coast here that if you follow the coastline exactly 60 kilometers south in that direction, you're going to reach Gaza. And there, rights groups are saying that there's a genocide and a famine taking place, which obviously feels extremely different to what we're seeing around us here in Tel Aviv.
Palestine. What you're seeing are the locations of the 1,308 documented Israeli attacks on the occupied West Bank, and the 7,024 on Gaza just from January to December 2025. This year, Israel accelerated its assaults to tighten its grip on the West Bank, while it repeatedly violated ceasefire agreements in Gaza. Israel's war has reduced Gaza to this, and forcibly displaced over 2 million people.
Tel Aviv is known as Israel's liberal capital. Here you can find beaches, bars, and all kinds of activities that make this an enjoyable city for its nearly 500,000 residents. It's like a beach party.
We're in the middle of a war, 2 years, and the beach behind me is full. Resilience is the main thing that represents Israel, that represents Israelis.
How is it being represented in media? Is it a conflict of interest, a war, or is it a genocide?